if we could all stand for the pledge, please. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen.
Joyce, if you want, you can have the black chair.
Okay.
Oh, they do?
Well, I was.
Or the Band-Aid chair, whichever one you want. If it's bad, you get a boo-boo. That's why it's called the Band-Aid chair.
Floor, too.
What's that?
Wheel.
Could the election.
Okay, I've never seen that. Tell me when you're ready.
Go.
Carol Bellevue, $100.
Yes.
Richard Chamberlain, $200. Carolyn Coughlin, $100. Douglas Cowie, $200. Linda McDonald, $200. Charles Williamson, $200. Kristen Patch is $481.94. Christine Belanger's $50, and Alexander Hall is $313.08.
For a total of $1845.02.
Tell me when. Eleanor Cherry, $1,012.15. Andrew Bickham, $606.09. Joseph Bird, $929.21. Kaden Blazik Ahern, $594.58. Kendra Brackett, $489.91. Gloria Bendaviseros, $502.25. Adnar Chardonars, $403.07. Karen Clements, $1,065.17. Jeffrey Collins is $668.02. Katie Coppola is $101.58. Keith Culligan, $68.52. Melissa Sanuski is $359.38. Michael Bam is $687.84. Kiki Donaswall is $169. Kelly Dvorak, did I say it right? Kaylee Dvorak is $400 even. Robert Gagnon, $702.49. Andrew Gray is $454.28. Mary Lyons Hall's $111.75. Kip Kaiser, $777.92. Joyce Keegle's $505.95. Kevin Nealon's $1304.49. Heather Lindsay is $611.87. Robert McCon is $542.48. Sarah Parkhurst is $403.34. Jeremy Potter $690.09. Brian Raines is $188.39. Wayne Robinson's $921.73. Stephen Forza is $1,084. Michelle Suda is $100. Christopher Spitaleri is $1,115.86. Sophia Streck is $9.23. Charlotte Sullivan is $9.23. Katrina Tennant is $499.42. Josh Turner is $311.87. Olivia Wall is $99.95. Daniel Wicks is $1,509.20. Janice Weir is $766.63. Jeremy Worcester is $321.85. Daphne Wass is $686.80. Jared Wright Ward is $73.88.
For a total of $21,776.31.
For a combined total of $23,621.33. PD had 14 hours of overtime, none in fire or highway. We did do an ACH withdrawal to Swayze for $205. Just want to pass that around and put it in the.
$205?
$205,000.
I was like, $205. That's awesome. Do it.
The pencil was not that sharp.
Okay.
Ouch.
Lenny Wilson. That's just Swayze though.
Yes. Yeah, it's close to, I think, 900,000 for the other one.
I'll keep these.
So you want me to do both, right? I'm getting really efficient.
Not that. Oh, come on.
Tell me when you're ready.
Go.
A&B Lock and Security, $585. Affleck is $83.32. Airgas is $534.29. Ben's Uniforms is $125. Caden Blazik Ahern is $20. Block 5 Technology, $749.17. Bob Septic Service, $75. Boundtree Medical is $587.41. Casella Waste is $25,261.48. Center for Occupational Health is $183.65. Citizens Bank, $7,036.95. Donahue Tucker and Sayadella PLLC, $175. E&J Auto Parts is $780.42. Eversource is $291.58. First Light is $237.22. GKG Planning is $2,782.50. Great American Financial Corp is $317.09. Hartman Oil is $556.19. Impact Fire Services is $287.61. Robert Montagary is $23.04. Monarch Electrical Service is $198. Neptune Uniform Service is $65.50. Treasurer of New Hampshire, $50. Treasurer, State of New Hampshire Department of Corrections, $50.23. North of Boston Media Group, $245.99. Rome Construction, $144. Starkey Welding, $320. Suburban Propane, $143.87. Summit Supply is $36.70. Ultra Automotive Repair is $165. UniFirst Corp is $51.12. Valak is $246.45. WM Corporation Services, $4,350.90. WB Mason is $151.90.
For a total of $46,911.58.
And if you combine them two together, it comes to $251,911.58. We have one deposit and one rec check.
Gotta wait for you, Ken.
Bill, you're delinquent. This was supposed to be plastic 2 weeks ago.
I know. I've had to work.
It doesn't go there.
No, it just goes right up on top of here.
Okay, I'll check with you next week.
I'll get there.
Okay.
Ooh,
You are good to go, Joyce.
Okay.
ouch.
Weekly
Ouch.
treasurer's report. Previous balance, $20,196.78. Deposits, $35,032.71. The payroll is $23,621.33. Payroll taxes, $5,540.12. The AP is $251,911.58. We transferred from the money market account $240,000. The account balance is $14,156.46. Interest year to date on that account is $16.51. The unrestricted balance is $1,399,709.21. And the interest earned on the CDs is $24,533.54.
Thank you, Joyce.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Joyce.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And thanks again for Ben Franklin.
Yeah.
Happy Jeeping.
I hear they got,
Nice Thanksgiving, everyone.
you
Oh,
too.
Thank you,
yeah.
Joyce.
Did you get that?
Yes, I do.
Oh,
Thank you very much.
oh.
Bob.
I make a motion for the minutes.
Motion and second, any discussion on the minutes?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Make a motion for non-public minutes.
Anybody opposed?
No,
Do I have a motion on non-public? Do I have a second?
you do.
Motion and second on non-public, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Rebecca, if you like the black chair, you can be our next special guest.
Sure.
Oh, you're gonna do permits?
I was trying to clean up the room a little bit.
Okay.
Oh, we could take.
Take this off so you can hear me a little
Sure.
bit better. Earlier this year, Dexter and I came to ask the selectmen permission to initially pursue historic status for the Grange building. You gave us conditional. And we said we'd come back in September, but given COVID and all that was going on, that sort of got by the board, too much else and too many considerations. So what we're proposing is to start to pursue it effectively in January, the start of the new year, with your permission and approval. I read to you, and Karen put them in the minutes of the selectmen's meeting, the pros and cons of pursuing historic status. It would make the town, the building eligible for grants and funds for renovation or preservation. It doesn't tie your hands from doing alterations to the buildings, and this is state historic classification. And any future owner doesn't have to be held to any standards for renovations or fixing up of the building. They can do whatever they want with it.
It sounds like you're interested in buying it?
No. Not unless
And
you
we're
give it to
selling
us, as it was given to you. If you give it to us, we'd consider that. So we'd like to start in January, and I have looked at the 48 section application. And what I'm going to ask tonight is for your approval to go ahead in January to do this, that I may use the copier for multiple copies as we work through the documents without charge to the Historical Society. Any costs that we would incur for photographs, they have to be 4x6 color photographs of the exterior of the building. I haven't priced those, but I can look into that for now. I'd asked someone if they would do it, but he's declined. And the one question that is, and we have someone who is willing to pay for any consultant we hire to help us with the application process. There are some people through the Alliance for Preservation, New Hampshire Alliance for Preservation, who might be available free, but there's also someone who might be hired. If this family chooses to give us the cash to pursue that, is it a tax deductible contribution? Since we are a 501c3, but since it's a town building, that's where we are not sure. Karen had asked at town meeting, the lawyer was there, whether we wanted you to pursue determining whether that contribution would be tax deductible. And I said, no, hold off for now. So that is one of the questions before us.
Would the money be, it would be donated to the Historical Society?
That's what I'm assuming.
So you're a 501c3?
Yes, but it's your building.
Yeah, but the money's going to the Historical Society, not to the building, it's not coming to the town.
If it came to us, it would have to go to the general fund, so.
Right, I know that.
Yeah, I would
know
assume that it would be an authorized deduction.
But is that an official answer for my donor?
No.
No.
We'll
So,
research it and let you know.
yeah, I don't know
We
what
need to
that
get
would.
clarification, but my sense is that it would be.
Yeah, and I have a lawyer in town who said he thinks it is, and Jim Wiseman said, you're laundering money, so I'm sort of in the quagmire. I don't know which to believe, but I would like an official reading for this donor, because it would be a few $1,000s to do that, to hire someone to do that. So if I have your permission for the copying and any costs we incur for photography, I can give you an estimate, and that we get the tax reading, and that we can start officially in January. That's what I'm asking for
Are
tonight.
you gonna just ask IRS for a ruling? You're gonna ask IRS for a ruling? That's probably the cleanest,
Yes.
easiest way to do it.
Yes,
Of course, if they give you the wrong information, it's your fault.
that's my fault, but I retire from the presidency in November, so, and Dexter will take over as president of the Historical
Dexter,
Society.
I'd be very careful if I were you.
I try to be.
I'll make a motion that we grant the Historical Society representative exactly what she's asking for, because I believe the photographs would be a reasonable cost.
Yes,
Second.
Motion and second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries.
thank you. So Karen, you'll just give me an answer on the tax issue?
Yes, and I'll need you to come see me to do an I-9 and a
Okay.
W-4 so that you can get paid for your
Okay.
time.
Okay, thank you.
Alright, now we can do, building permits.
Deb Giles, 57 Dudley Road, generator. Kevin Johnston, 195 Route 125, solar array. Also an electrical permit for Kevin Johnston. Bob Magnuson, 1 Wendell Drive, an electrical permit. Roy Solomon, 210 Pickpocket Road, a whole house electric permit. And Alan Agrella, 44 Spruce Ridge Drive for a deck.
Three ponds?
No 3 ponds this week.
Oh, and they were doing deeds today.
Well, they're coming into the planning board Thursday.
Two other tip things.
They still staying on their same
Yep.
amount of houses?
Second page, yeah. I think it's, the grand
Is that
total
just
should
the
be
sign here?
114,000
Very good.
I missed the sign here.
114 houses, wow,
total, yeah.
a lot of houses.
And they're doing, yeah, they're doing more, they're gonna add 7 or 8 more houses.
No, the total is 114.
It was 106,
Yeah.
so now they're on 114.
Is it gonna add or the total?
No, the total is 114.
Is any of that in current use land? No?
Which property?
3 ponds.
3
Three
ponds.
ponds?
Not the first phase, no.
Not the first phase, but the second
I
phase?
believe the second phase
That's
is,
in
yeah.
the second phase, yeah, okay.
Yeah, but they were gonna do, what, 106 homes, so if they're doing 114, I'm sure. I know he bought some more land, so,
He did.
And that's all in
But
Brentwood
that's
too,
in
right?
current
You got-
use.
No, some of it is
You
in.
got land.
I think some of it's up in,
I know that.
but I don't know if the houses will be in up there. I don't know how
I
that
don't
works.
know.
They wouldn't come before us anyway, they'd come before
No,
us.
they wouldn't come before.
Kip is proposing 3 changes to his fee schedule. So he'd like to implement a pool permit fee of $200, a generator fee of $75, and a solar array fee of $200. So that would eliminate the need to pull the minor permit and the electrical permit, so it'd be one combined fee for those purposes.
Make a motion.
All other fees will stay the same.
And I know we talked about, the electrical done,
Yes,
so this is in line with all that,
yes, so part of that would be, if the electrical inspector were to go out for this purpose,
do the whole thing.
then, right.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries.
And then this is a quote for the door, the basement door, at the rec center. So it's to replace the door, replace it with a steel jamb, PVC trim, potentially some hardware, and the cost is up to, I think it's $14.50 for the work.
I'll make a
So
motion to
the
accept the proposal.
Request would be to come out of capital reserve for building maintenance to cover those fees.
Bob, what do you think about that quote?
This is only one door though, huh? It's not for both?
That is one door for right now, so, the idea would be to, that's a new contractor that we haven't used before, so they wanna do the one door, see how it goes, and then if they're happy with it, they'll move forward with more.
Now, he has had other
This doesn't
quotes,
have
but that was
the,
higher.
Much
For
as
sure.
one
Yeah.
door.
this is not including the crash bar or anything, is it?
That will include, it's up to, it's a not to exceed budget of $14.50, that will
That
include
does include the hardware.
the hardware, if we need it.
Yeah, cause this is the steel jam, but it doesn't say anything about the crash bar. I'd like to see it a little bit more itemized, so I know exactly what he's doing. Because if we say, yes, we accept this, it pretty much says right in there, it's only for the steel jam, which is this, around it,
Yep.
and PVC trim and the door. Doesn't say anything about the crash bars or anything else.
So you're good, so if they add the crash bar to that at that price, you're
Then
good
I
with
would say
that?
that's reasonable.
Okay,
If it's not, then I need him to itemize it. I want it broken down. Typically, you're gonna wanna see labor and material broken out, cause I need to know what he's paying his labor rates. But conditionally, I would say it's reasonable if it's including all that hardware, cause that's labor, usually for crash bar and stuff, you're gonna pay about 300 just for that. And then that would be in line.
So I think that's a motion. Do I have a second?
Oh, absolutely.
Motion and seconded, any further discussion? All in favor?
Alright,
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Kip, have anything else, or?
no, that's it for now.
Let's,
Can I get that?
unless we wanna do rec first, Andy's here.
As long as it for board members.
Are you waiting?
I thought I was gonna have to wait, so originally I told Daphne she could go, but Amy's,
If you're ready to go,
we're good to
take the
go.
hot seat.
Alright,
So we'll start with rec.
so actually, before we do that, I had the joint loss up there.
This is a wicked hard one.
Yeah, super hard, it really shouldn't be, but
Do you have copies?
I got my calculator already going, so.
Well, it's so hard.
it's level
It's
funded,
53
it's literally
years.
not changing.
Yeah, that's, I had, you know.
But
Oh, you wanna do
what I
joint
do
loss
is I
first?
put-
Yeah, just,
All I do is right now, I'm
anticipating-
taking
He's
this
the
and I'm putting,
chairperson.
yeah, I'm the new
3%.
chairperson.
Oh.
Yeah, since I
it tells
abandoned
me
you.
what the amount is.
Oh, no,
Someone-
Kip
someone,
was your
uh,
But I
chairperson.
have to say,
I was
I know
volunteered
it's
for this
next week, but
position.
what's your
You were
percentage?
Did you miss a meeting?
They should tell us.
No, I didn't.
Let me explain the process. He was nominated, it was second, and it was approved unanimously.
For him to be the chair?
That's correct.
What's that?
For his own department?
He get a vote?
No, no.
Of his own department.
Joint safety.
I think I would have been
Oh, okay.
outvoted.
I'm like, wait a minute.
So the first budget we're gonna do is joint loss
Oh,
at $241,
Make a
level
motion.
funded. I have a motion, a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Anybody opposed? 241
I
carries.
don't know why I sat down.
I think my charisma can get that one through.
You had a moment to
I don't know, we
oppose
didn't spend
there.
any money this year,
Yeah.
did we? Let me have it.
Alright.
Wait till I have to modify the health officer's budget.
Now this is right.
That's 100%.
This is a
increase.
new
I'm
rec?
gonna give you a 100%
New
decrease.
Well, no, it's the same number,
A
but
dollar
it
to a
has
dollar.
the stuff that you wanted to go in.
Yeah.
Oh.
Uh-oh. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, we already have this one, all right?
Oh, do we have?
You have the worksheet,
Well,
but not.
I printed it off the web.
Oh, not the notes, right?
Not what?
His notes.
You can use the
Oh.
scratch paper.
Oh.
Alright.
There's notes in it. Don't
All right.
me.
So bottom line, I'm asking for a 7.7% increase and a salary increase of 8.7%,
How much?
8.7.
Going from what dollar an hour to what dollar an hour?
So I'm looking for a scheduled wage increase of $1, going from 20 to 21 in April, and then from 21 to 22 in September. My reasoning for this is I'm trying to align myself a little bit closer to other directors within the state for departments very similar size to Brentwood. Within that packet, I've handed out, you'll see some, a sample size of some towns, what they pay their directors. A lot of these other departments either have part-time assistants, full-time assistants, a large number of seasonal employees, and then their general operating budget. And then if you continue on, you'll see kind of department comparisons, the number of sports, facilities, programming and whatnot, and kind of what those departments generally do. So that's that first part, I guess, of that justification, and then that last page is a department comparison to other towns that are surrounding Brentwood on how they handled the pandemic and what they have been offering moving forward. Comparing ourselves with other surrounding towns, we have been basically a full go since early summer, and we have not slowed down. We have either modified programs like summer camp and the upcoming basketball season. We were one of the few, if not only, rec department in the state that held a 4th of July parade. And to keep bouncing off of that, a lot of departments did not do summer programming or still are not doing anything, like Kensington. So I guess I'll ask for questions.
Well, we wanted to keep everything at 3%,
3%, I think
so
7.
coming at 8.7 is like triple it. So what else did you cut out of your budget in order to kind of keep the budget overall 3%?
I left everything else the same.
Okay, so we were looking for overall 3% increase.
I certainly do understand that, but
What's the increase?
8.7.
8.7%.
That's the wage increase.
The wage increase, bottom line increase was 7.7.
And how much is the wage?
8.7.
8.7, I'd go from 20 to 21 in April, and then from 21 to 22 in September.
It's $2 an hour raise, right?
Right, so the average wage in comparison to 2016 wages, which was one, did you already go over this?
So a lot of those wages you see are also from the New Hampshire Rec state site, and that's the most up-to-date numbers I could get from those departments, and that's even referring back 4 years ago to 2016. And now to 4 years ago, we're still as a department behind where those other towns were then. And some of those towns have even increased since then.
Have we ever considered taking part of the salary from the
Rec?
revolving account? It seems to me like we should actually pay him what he's worth, and that would mean,
But it could be offset from those fees, right?
right. So if we were to take, as an example, 10 grand from the revolving account, and we move that from his budget, Karen, you're the mathematician in the
Well,
crowd.
Well, I don't know if you can do
I
that.
think the hard part with that is you're restricted in what you can use the revolving fund for, number one.
Well, that's what I'm asking, have we ever done that, or,
We've never done that before.
okay,
It's a question that's come up year over year.
it has come up.
It has come up before, generally at the budget committee level is where it comes up.
Long-term wise, I personally don't think that would be feasible. Within that packet, you'll also see where our revolving fund is compared to other towns. Since I've been here, I've kept it around 45, give or take. Other towns are much higher than that. I do pay our seasonal staff through the revolving fund.
Okay,
And if you were to go along with something like that for this year, once again, I don't think long-term wise it would be feasible because those funds would start to drain.
all right,
I
it seems to me
don't
like
know.
there's been a precedent. If we are paying the part-time summer employees from the revolving account, I can't understand why there would be a restriction to pay the director.
Well, I don't think there's necessarily a restriction, I think the problem is reimbursed back. So when you pay your seasonal staff, their wages are tied directly to a program registration fee that hopefully will sort of pay itself off and reimburse the fund.
Okay,
You wouldn't have that
But
same
you could
reimbursement.
still increase the fees.
You could.
You could increase the fees.
What was
And
that?
whatever the increase on the fees are, you could actually do that as a quarterly stipend.
Is there
I
anything?
mean, just to go off
Yeah.
of that,
Or a
sorry
monthly
to interrupt.
Sure.
So summer camp is a big reason why our revolving fund has increased over the years, and a big perk to Brentwood Summer Camp is that we are one of the cheaper camps in the region. If we start charging what other communities will, people are gonna choose to go to Camp Lincoln and Exeter when they have more to offer.
you do realize that I'm trying to give you the raise.
Oh, no, I understand that, I certainly do, I just, in my opinion, I don't think long-term wise, out of the revolving fund makes sense, and one of the perks to Brentwood Rec for a program like summer camp is that we can keep costs down. So if you were to increase my wages through the revolving fund, I would have to increase those registration fees, and that may turn people off.
Okay,
The only thing you're gonna have to do is think out of the box though, because we wanna keep it at 3% and going to 8.7 is not gonna,
Okay.
it's
I
just
don't
not
think
gonna
it,
fly.
I think this year where people's taxes have gone up, I don't think it's a good year to ask for an 8-point-something raise.
Percent raise. I just don't think it's gonna fly.
Yeah, you can say something, Tammy.
I'm Tammy McNeil, rec chair, I haven't met all of you guys. Phyllis, I saw your face when it was 8.7, I did the same thing. I'm very money conscious, conservative about those things. I think if we focus on the $20 an hour to 21, it's just significant. Andy has done so much, he's a one-man show, and when we look at these other departments, the staff they have, the resources, he kept this going in all the programs we had through COVID, all the adjustments we've had to make. You should, I mean, just to think about running basketball right now, it's so much work to do these programs, and again, like by himself.
Well,
And I think, like I said, I was like, wow, 8.7, and there was an extra week in this year that really bumped it up.
Yeah.
It made it look shocking, but it's 8.7 on his salary. It's not 8.7 on this astronomical budget. It's on a smaller number. So I think that the percentage looks scary when you look at the dollar rate, $1 to then $2. For a director, I mean, I would love to see us hang on to him. I mean, I'm worried he can go to these other towns and get paid at a much higher rate, and
well, that's, well,
It's
I'm
very,
looking,
you know-
I'm looking out for the taxpayers in Brentwood, and I just think 8.7% is,
it sounds
not-
much more than what it is.
is there anything else in the budget that can come out of the revolving account?
I mean, a lot of these costs already somewhat do come out of the revolving account. Good example, land and facilities, land maintenance, apologize for that. In the last couple of years, that bill's been closer to 7,300, and you know, I have a line of 5,600 there. Porta potties is already, I'm already getting close to going over that.
What does come out of land maintenance? What does that include?
Just general upkeep of the fields, lining them for soccer. I got the field aerated for the first time in like, since I've been here. I don't know when the last time was since then.
I didn't know what it was, I didn't know if it was a bee, so I stepped on it, sorry.
And now it's dead.
You know, fertilizer is just to keep the fields clean, because if you do look at our facilities compared to other towns, I mean, those fields are beautiful. So that number goes to there. I mean, telephone, since I've been here, the telephone communications line has always gone over. I mean, every year is a little bit different. This year's been tough because of COVID, but equipment maintenance, I'm already, some years I go over that.
Sorry.
Electric, if there's any, that's a town agreement between, agreement between town and rec, 55-45 split. Anything that goes over that amount comes out of the rec budget. Same thing with heat and oil.
You know, that seems like a likely place where we should delve into it a little bit more. Maybe we should increase it or flip it. 45, 55.
I mean, obviously, I would love to increase those items, but once again, to get back to that salary item, I'm still behind where other departments are. And I would just, you know, I hate to say it, I would hate to see an increase those
Same
other
thing,
items
really.
if I feel I'm still compensated less than other towns.
We also looked at the operating budget on that second page as well, and where the other towns are in the hundreds of thousands, we're
I
not.
don't care about the other towns, I care about.
Well, I mean, I'm looking at, you know, like, I can tell you right now, I would throw, like, you guys threw Raymond into this thing. Poof, it's off. Newmarket, it's off. I got a population of 10,130, population of 9,150. I can't compare them to a population of 4,400. It's just
Right,
never gonna
either-
happen.
I mean,
either 72 or
Some of the
64.
reasons for me putting those towns in there is Raymond does very little sports. They do very little adult and youth programming, and we actually do more than that department. They focus a lot more on partnering up with private organizations, and they do one-off events. I mean, that's how they choose to run their department, but when you look at it as a department as a whole, we offer much more than a town like that.
But you're talking about a different tax base.
Yeah.
You are, but it is a town that surrounds this community, and we do offer more.
Well, and if you look at New Boston, they have a similar size population to us. The director's salary in 2016 was 51,000. They offer similar to us in number of sports facilities and fields. They're the closest in this comparison.
What is around New Boston?
But they have an operating budget of 104,000.
Well,
Right,
and they
but
have
if you-
a
but this is
revolving
in
account of
20
185,000.
2016, so when you look at, when you pull the 2019 town report, that director's increased to 62,000 now.
So, I'm gonna make a recommendation that we table this for a week and you make some phone calls. Simple, hey, what do you make now? And give us a list of comparable towns to Brentwood, not,
Okay.
you know,
Molten Borough, which is around a lake, that's,
So what towns would you like to, like, I mean, Sandown, Stratham,
You can't compare Stratham to Brentwood.
right.
I mean, Sandown, I think is, I don't know, similar
7,000.
dynamic though, but yeah, your bigger population.
But,
Yeah.
but the Sandown Rec Director doesn't run any sports.
So what's like Kensington doing? I wanna know what,
Nothing.
They
have
have
nothing?
nothing since the pandemic. They've done absolutely nothing.
but what are they paying their people?
but their population is 2,000,
Oh.
so
They have
I
only a
mean-
population of 2,000 in
Kensington's
Kensington?
gonna be bigger
I
than
think
2,000.
Kensington's
They got more
No.
than, they have
I,
more than 2,000.
I used to live in Milton. I threw that town in there because it's a very similar sized town. And I'm gonna be honest, that department doesn't do much, and they also have a part-time assistant director to go along with that. It's a very similar town. It's very small.
Andy, in addition to your recommendation, I'd like to research the 55-45. Is that cast in stone?
Of what?
For the
For electric?
Yeah, for all the services that we pay 55 versus 45.
It doesn't change the,
It does. If we flip it, if we put 55 on the rec side
And 45 for us, it saves 10% on our end.
But we also have to be careful that we don't deplete.
When was the last time it was less than 45,000? In your history?
In my head, less than 45, I mean, a couple times, but that will pick up because summer camp has been a big addition to this town.
I
It
don't
really
think that,
has.
Andy, we have any fear of depleting it to the
Well,
point.
if you take an extra 10 grand a year out of it that you're not putting into it,
It's
you're
not
gonna
10
deplete it in
grand
4
worth of
grand.
electric and stuff, though.
No, now we're not talking about 10 grand, we're probably not even talking 5,000.
Well,
You're
in order to
talking
get it,
520 bucks.
in order to get it in line, you need almost 10 grand. You need 5 grand.
That's what I'm talking about, 5 grand.
Yeah.
So
I
you'll
still would
deplete
like
it
to
8
pursue
years.
that, and if it's not feasible, we won't.
I mean, I would say the other thing to look at is potentially the fee schedules of what you're charging for things.
You have to keep in mind that through this whole COVID thing, we've continued to have many rest
Absolutely, that's what I mean, I think he deserves.
But you have to be able to balance the two, so.
Well, you can't go up and down, I mean,
There's a happy compromise.
that's right, someplace.
Okay.
I agree.
So you're gonna have to get creative.
Turn the lights off, we'll save a few bucks. I want you to get the raise.
No, I
So the-
understand.
Is the board in agreement with a wage adjustment schedule?
I don't think,
No.
I don't think you're gonna see $2 in 1 year get past the budget committee.
Even if you're breaking it up to get creative, all right, so then fine, now I'm doing $1.50, right?
Or go $1, or make one raise of $1.25 to get, but we have to prove that we need that to
Swing.
be
Depends
competitive.
Right.
And not,
With similar size.
And I think the other obstacle is, we've already had that discussion, and I've already seen it with several budgets so far, where you're, for some reason, maybe the message is not getting through to people, we said 3% overall.
We said 3% overall bottom line operating budget. We
Right.
didn't
But that's
add-
great, I didn't cut anything out. So, if you're gonna go for 8.7, get creative. If you don't get creative, then don't be upset when we say no.
Well, I mean, I'm certainly not upset, and I know I asked for more than the 3%, but once again, this department is behind compared to other comparable towns in the state, and that's why that percentage increase is higher than it would be in a typical year if we were supposed to be.
I personally think you're well worth it, probably more. Without sounding repetitive, the budget committee has a function, and we as selectmen have another function. It is not the same,
I agree.
okay? I know you
But we
have,
also like to,
no,
work
let me
together.
finish. I know you have to defend our decisions, but that's why you get the big bucks.
But I can't defend a $2 an hour raise.
When we send
Right.
Andy to
In
the
my-
budget committee to say, here's what we've decided, we need to give him some reasonable ground.
Oh,
to stand on.
absolutely.
And when he goes there and says, look,
Once
$2
again, they have their job, we have ours.
and we had that agreement with
No, no, no.
the budget committee on 3%.
Overall, Karen just told you what our agreement was.
Right, 3%,
3% overall.
but that's not what this is.
But some budgets can't trim the way other budgets can, like police, fire, and highway have a great ability
Absolutely,
to
they're
offer
3%.
raises
They're larger.
and
Eats
trim
us up,
something
yeah.
else. You know, these small budgets don't have that flexibility, the line items are the line items, these are the necessities.
Well, salary is 2/3 of his budget.
You know, we talk a great deal about retention, so.
Absolutely. Well, you know, maybe we should start thinking about bringing the big budgets in first, because then
They
we
can
can
have all
really.
the money?
Huh?
She said so they can have all the money.
No,
So we
so
can cut more.
we could
Give
see
more.
the potential savings.
Well, there's no reason why in prior years, we can't see all the budgets at once to see what's presented and.
I agree.
The town I work for, that's, the finance director gets them first and she calculates what the overall increase is gonna be. So the selectmen know beforehand what the total budget is gonna be like.
You know, I'm taking Phyllis's point, I understand what she's saying. My taxes went up also. Bills went down, so maybe he should contribute to the recreation
How did yours go
department.
down?
My house is a wreck.
Give it to the rec.
I'm living.
It's a wreck, give it to the rec.
I'm living in a wreck
They'll
house.
sell it and they'll pay for their stuff for years.
I don't know whether that's true or not, but
Are there specific towns that you're looking for that you think are a more fair comparison than what we've chosen here?
well, I noticed Newfields isn't on it.
Yeah,
So
what's
a
new
lot
for-
of smaller towns, and that's another thing to consider, a lot of smaller towns, I do need to do more research into Newfields, but they will be considered a resident towards another town. So like a good example, because that's the region I'm from, I know Brookfield residents are part of Wakefield Rec.
Yeah, okay.
So a lot of smaller towns are closer, you know,
Combine
1 to
that.
3,000 in
So you combine
population.
them in, so.
Exactly, so they will be part of another town's rec department.
I would say if you gave comparability under 7,000,
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, when I start seeing 10,000, 9,000, I'm like,
I mean,
it's not even in the same.
I understand those towns, like but to
That
go
skews
back what
your
I was
numbers.
saying, we do offer more, but there are towns, like,
Yes.
there's New Boston, there's New London, there's Milton, there's Nottingham, Molten Borough. I mean, Nottingham, yes, their director's salary may be less than mine, but they also have a part-time assistant director.
Right.
And they don't run any adult programming, they don't do any sports, they're essentially a daycare program.
Right.
That's all they do.
Well, I don't think any of us disagree that you're doing a good job, but it's just that
Are
this
you
is not the
changing your
year
mind?
to ask for an 8. Yes, I'm not gonna vote for this, that's 8 point, no, I'm not happy with this, 8.7.
I would say everybody good with 8,000 and under. And get 2019 statistics, because to do something with 2016 is very, you're not doing yourself a favor.
I mean, I'm still behind these towns even in 2016,
Well,
Well,
really,
when
you're
I
not.
look at Sandown, they were lower than you. I look at, you know,
but they also have 29 seasonal employees. They're lower than me, but they have a town beach. They have other. That's once again, that's all they do.
But what is a seasonal employee? I could have 29 employees, but still only one person works at a time.
But you still look at their operating budget, and it's up by it.
but like you said, they have a town beach, so they're probably paying for
2 lifeguards.
lifeguards, yeah, so.
Understood.
Dexter?
What are the fees for the rental of the rec center used for? Could they be?
They go to the
they go to-
revolving account, and that's what we're talking about, maybe dipping into that to help.
I
Right now,
think you're supporting my position.
Well, I'm looking for someplace where, you know, where there could be a revenue.
Okay, yep.
So,
Rebecca?
Just going back to the fees for summer camp and other programs, how much of a difference is there between what we might charge and a Camp Lincoln? Is there room for a slight incremental uptick in those fees?
Off the top of my head, we're probably $400 to $500 cheaper.
That's a
so
considerable
you,
amount.
you throw $50 in there per child, that's,
And
A
I
good
raised,
significant-
I have raised those twice since I've been here. I'm just saying once we start approaching and we get closer to that, those families,
Right,
I would make the same choice. I'm gonna go somewhere else
You
where they
can't
have a
compare
pool.
Brentwood Rec to Camp
Right,
Lincoln on a
right.
lake.
Yeah,
right, true.
And I
And-
think
and they-
Andy is
Excuse me,
always-
just
Yeah,
the woman in the back,
So,
just naming,
Kim Leo, 23 LeBrew, you can't compare Brentwood Rec, say, to Camp Lincoln or Exeter Rec for summer camp. It's not the same, yes, the prices are very different, and I definitely approve of all the hard work we're doing here in town. But you can't compare the 2 summer camps as far as revenue increase and that. It's,
I understand that.
Yeah, and also, what I also, a point I wanted to make is we consciously keep our programs costs so low, so the town is benefiting. For example, we just ran our field hockey program for $35. To go do that, and the only other place you can play that sport is a club. And for the 6-week session that we did, you would pay a good $200. And I mean, we let them borrow our stick, like, we keep these costs so down. With summer camp, it is such a benefit to families to get that daycare for the summer, for the cost we're giving it. And again, Andy is so conscious of keeping the cost of all our programs down. So I think, you know, again, like I said, this raise of $1 an hour then to 2 is just, I really would be so saddened to see us lose Andy, because I've seen what we've had in the past and what we've come to. We also have, COVID put just lost in so many new programs that we plan to run. We also have, you know, more people moving in with the 3 Pond development, and we keep trying more and more programs for seniors and different age groups. So I think, you know, our programs will continue to grow and bring in, you know, more people participating in rec and we'll keep them busier. So I just, again, really would like to see this go through.
I think the problem with, not the problem with rec, but the thought behind rec is that it's the same thing as the schools. Should everybody in Brentwood pay for the few that use it? You know, would it be more worthwhile where the median income of Brentwood is $500,000-600,000 to raise our sports fees for those that want to participate instead of every taxpayer bearing the burden of a $5,000 increase in Andy's salary? Nobody's saying Andy doesn't deserve it. We're just saying, how are we gonna tackle the taxpayers saying, that's a lot of money in a COVID world?
And if I give it to one, I gotta give to all.
I fought
Do
last,
we now, do we, or could we?
Yeah, no,
like
no,
you
I'm
said,
already starting to see it in some of these budgets that are
can't
coming in. Cause if I give it to him, what am I supposed to say no to somebody else? And then the whole market analysis thing drives me crazy. Oh, well, this town pays this and this town pays that. Well, you know what? I can tell you right now, if I went to another company and they offered me $30,000 more, I'd have to make a decision. Do I go with that other job or do I stay where I am at because I like where I'm at and I like the people I'm working with? That's a decision I have to make. That's the private industry.
but
Well,
we're
same
also
thing
talking,
works in the public industry.
we're talking about a generation different than yours, where there is no company no offense to you, Andy,
There is no.
but there is no company loyalty that,
Yeah.
people don't make a decision on that. They make a decision on whether they can put money in their bank account.
And you said the average income, and it was 400,000 to 500,000?
I don't know.
No,
what
no, the
median
average house, the
House.
houses,
Oh,
the average
because
house
I
used to
was
be
gonna
worth,
say, my bank account doesn't show that.
the average house used to be valued off of 300,000, now I think our average house is like 400, 425.
On the flip side, we're gonna talk about, you know, raising registration fees. I can tell you right now, there are plenty of families choosing Exeter basketball or Stratham this because they feel they're getting a better service. And I don't want that to be a knock on myself, but if we raise those prices, we may be scaring more people away. That's the upside to Brentwood Rec, is that costs are down.
Rebecca?
Just a question, all the programs that we offer, they open only to Brentwood residents?
Basketball's the only tricky one in a normal year. This year, it's open to SAU 16 students, but all my programs are open to everyone.
Is there any differential, say, if someone from Brentwood registers in Exeter, do they pay a premium for not being an Exeter resident?
So for
Most schools charge either in-school, in-state or out-of-state fees, or day students versus boarding students, there's always a differential.
So the only programs I really do that for is summer camp.
Okay,
You got
Okay.
stuff like soccer or t-ball, I just charge a flat fee,
Yep.
Do you
$35.
know if other towns do that?
Some towns do that.
There's a question in the back, just your name and,
Alina, read it 25 people. It's not a question, it's more of offering of services. I think more analysis needs to be made here because when you start comparing what Brentwood offers and what other surrounding town offers, it's really not apple to apple. So I think there's a bit of analysis that needs to be done in terms of the cost that it might take to improve some of those programs and the revenues that might come in. So I can offer my services as a volunteer to do that analysis if you'd like. But I don't think you're gonna see the numbers otherwise.
Andy, in regards to your recommendation, I think maybe we should offer a review of the fee schedule also. Not that there's gonna be movement in it, but we should look at it.
I don't know if we have time in the budget season to do that, but I agree eventually that
Well, I bet you he'll find time.
I think if they're, like for camp, if it's $500 difference, what do we charge for camp?
Off the top of my head, I think we are $650 for residents, $750 for non-residents.
And they're $500 more?
I know, so good example, I know Action Kids is like $1,000 a week. I know Camp Lincoln over the course is well beyond us. I think, I haven't looked at them since summertime, so I think they're about $400 or $500 more expensive. But once again, they have more expenses, they have more to offer.
think that fee is in line with other rec program summer camp fees.
I know we mirror Barrington Recs prices, we mirror Milton Recs prices.
Barrington might be a good comparable, I don't even think they were on this
They
list.
do
were they?
$650 for
Yeah.
summer camp.
No, he's talking about for director.
For directors and stuff.
Oh, no, for just
Barrington
their
would be a
summer
great
camp
time.
fees, we do mirror their summer camp fees, we do mirror Milton, summer camp fees. I haven't looked in Nottingham in a while, I think we're in the same ballpark.
So I think everybody, we're just going round and round now.
Yep.
Yeah,
25 to 31 to answer your question, Bob.
25 to 31, okay.
So I'll take a motion to table this.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Motion and seconded. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
I'm sorry, who made the motion? Ken?
Ken, second. We'll keep the Ken and Bob show going on today.
The good thing is, Andy, is we're not denying your budget. We want more information to get you
No,
what you
yeah.
need.
Absolutely.
And thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thanks.
Did you make that in Daphne?
Yeah.
While we're
I think we
waiting,
can do election and registration without Daphne if you want.
Yeah,
You good with that?
yeah.
Yeah, I have a thing about the election. I think the ballot clerks should,
Alright, that's a Daphne thing then.
What's
You
that?
wanna make changes.
well, I think the ballot clerks, they've been making $100 forever, plus they've increased the hours for them. I think you should at least give them $125.
I was thinking 150.
Well, that's even better.
I was thinking 100. I was thinking 100,
Well,
but
what
hey,
They get
what
it.
percentage raise is
You're gonna
that?
give
I was there the whole day and didn't do
50.
anything,
Oh.
so. I was there from
I
6:30
just
till
think-
whatever.
Now, Carol,
Yes, dear.
you spent 14 hours there.
Yeah, plus.
Now, remember, it's my story, so don't interrupt.
Okay.
Okay.
He's sticking to it.
You spent at least 13 hours, right? At $100, you're making less than minimum wage.
She's making $7.69, that's more.
I was
than
gonna say,
minimum.
let me do the math.
It's
I'm
13
sorry.
cents more than minimum wage, okay.
She can become a waitress. At that rate.
So my question is, what happened to the 3% we were talking about?
Yeah, yeah, we got a
Well, what's 3%?
I don't know.
103.
$3.
$3.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
That's easy math.
Oh,
Done.
It's not 100%, it's not 50%.
I don't know.
Now, are we confusing the 3% with raises? I was under the impression it was overall
I think it
budget,
was 3% overall budget is what we're looking at.
Department budget,
department budget.
not our town overall budget.
Right, not our town, department.
So, either
Are we
way,
looking at elections then, there's a 42% reduction in elections.
Right,
We
because-
add more money to the.
we have less elections.
We have less.
We only have,
I know that,
next year, 2 elections.
One.
Well, the town meeting.
Well,
Yeah.
town meeting and,
So I'm gonna make a motion for $6,007. It's a 42% reduction because less elections.
There was 2 people supporting a change in the supervisor, the clerk salary.
Then I don't need a
Did we-
second if
did
somebody
we
wants
have
to,
a-
but if
did we
somebody
have a
wants to make a
motion on
second, I made a motion for
No,
$6,007.
Was there a motion on the?
No, I thought it was just a discussion, but
There's just a discussion so far, but
that's why I jumped in with the emotion. Now we just have to wait for a second.
Second.
There. Now it's on the table.
so do we want to continue discussing a raise for the clerks?
Yes.
yes.
You wanna take a roll call on Bob's motion and his second?
Well, we have discussion, but I don't have to take a vote on,
Discussion on the.
we're discussing the motion. So if 3 people are in favor of
A raise,
a
then
raise, then
they would modify the.
we would modify the motion.
Well, I'm one of 3, I'll modify it.
What are you gonna modify it to?
150.
Can you modify it to 125?
No, my motion is 150.
I'll second it.
Isn't it odd to have 2 motions going at the same time?
Well, no, you do.
No,
have
you
to
have
a motion on
amended
it.
motion.
It's an amended motion.
So there's an amended motion for $150, which would be times 4, that's $200, so we would change the top line item to
What
600.
about the supervisors? Did them
No.
modify them as well or not? Just modify
They're doing well.
Just modifying the clerk.
Well, the supervisors are putting in much more work. I mean, if you're using the analogy of work done, the supervisors are working,
See, I've always thought the supervisors should be paid by the hour, especially now where they have to do so much more work. I've always been an advocate of that. But some of them didn't want to get paid by the hour because of their retirement.
I might be able to support 125, but 150, I was thinking of.
All right, so we have a modified 150,
yep,
and my second was PT.
Yep.
any
Any further discussion?
any further discussion?
I'm done.
We'll take a vote on modify the 6,207. Is that the right number?
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
What are we voting on now?
A raise.
$150 raise.
Yes.
Opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
It'd be nay.
Nay.
And I'm gonna break the tie with a nay.
Okay.
So I'll make a motion that we raise to $125.
Second.
So 6107.
Yep.
So hold on.
Motion second
Well-
over here.
So Bob, Bill, and Andy
Andy,
failed.
Yep,
No, Andy made a motion and I seconded it.
yep. So there's a motion on the table for 6107, right?
Mm-hmm.
Motion second, any discussion? All in favor of 6107?
Reluctantly, I will agree.
Yeah, I'll agree reluctantly too, but
Opposed?
Nay.
So 4-1. 6107 carries. Did you get that all, Daphne?
No.
Then you're gonna do the
So we
same.
added $25 to the clerk's salary.
Now we're gonna go for the town meeting. Make a motion for that budget at 2801.
Did you see that?
Second.
Yeah, well, that's because you have less elections.
Second.
Motion and second on 2801. Any further discussion?
Yeah.
All in favor of 2801 for the moderator?
Aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Motion carries 5-0. You caught up?
Yeah.
Are you upset at me?
No,
Okay. Remember,
one for Andy.
I was good yesterday. All right, Daphne, welcome to the fun.
Come on down to the.
Have the black
You can
chair.
have the Band-Aid chair. Have a seat.
Okay,
If you leave with a boo-boo, well, then what?
She already has a boo-boo.
I already have a boo-boo on it.
Okay.
So we'll do town clerk first. How's that sound?
Great. So the increase is due to retirement. I'm looking to add retirement to myself. And let's see,
And hours, correct?
an hour, 3 hours that I'm already here for.
Are you looking for a pay increase?
Yes,
How much?
3%,
For all your employees?
yes.
So it's 3%, you have an extra week, and then you have
There's an extra week in there too.
Extra 3 hours a week for
an
that.
extra 3 extra,
Yes.
okay.
Beginning in April.
So the,
Beginning in April.
Is that a different day, or we're just adding on to the days that you normally do?
Adding on to the days I'm already here those 3 extra hours anyway.
So now you just wanna get paid for it?
Yeah.
the firm, former town clerk tax collector was in the retirement system, right?
Yes.
So
Phyllis?
you're just adding yourself into
At the
the
end.
house.
Yes.
Yes.
So you never did the retirement, okay.
She was under the hours, so,
She was under the hours.
By doing the 3 hours, you get the.
right.
How many hours a week is that?
35.
Daphne, did you figure out how much in fees that you
Yes.
get for town clerk that would offset this?
Yes, so well, combined town clerk, tax collector, it would be around 46,000.
46,000?
Is
Yeah.
what your office brings in?
Well, that's what, if
No,
I was
that's
getting
what-
paid by fees
Oh,
instead
okay.
of salary, that's what I would be.
Right.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, Phyllis asked me to fill that out and that was a good idea.
Where's
No, I
that?
mean, it's,
Yeah,
I'll make a motion for
Where's that?
59,594.
Fees.
Wow, I'll second that immediately.
I
Okay,
just made notes.
just made a motion in a second.
There's a motion and a second on 59,594. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Alright.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
So the tax collector, is that a similar situation with 3%?
It's exactly similar. The only difference on this one is our abstracts, which are our mortgage research place that does the mortgage researches. All of them are going up $5 a parcel. So I factored in, if we have 100 tax liens, which this past year we got super close to that, that's $500 extra, so I included that in here. And I did look at other companies, they're exactly the same, if not already more. This company had not increased their prices for 25 years. So today they this year they decided to do that,
$5.
$5 a parcel, yeah.
So I'll make a motion for 56,859.
Second.
Motion and second, 56,859, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
And you don't need me to talk about the elections at all?
Nope, that's done.
We already did it.
I'm
Okay.
happy with that.
Can you
One and
just
done.
do me a favor?
Yeah,
Type me up something of what abstracts are and what postage buys us?
say that
And
again?
also, I would give him the total that you take in fees, so we can bring that to the
Yep,
budget committee.
okay, but
What-
you wanna know what abstracts are?
Yeah, I know you just told us, but can you just type?
That line item, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, but what did you say about postage?
Postage, like how many tax bills we mail out at, that's why postage is so high, because you now mail out DMV stuff, you mail out,
Yeah, but I think, don't we take a lot of the postage money out of the town clerk tax collector's
It's
budget
for the mailing of the.
for everybody, right? Yeah, I don't
Basically
think
for
it's,
everybody and everything,
yeah, I don't think it's just for the
right.
town clerk's office.
right, but,
And
just-
for absentee ballots,
right.
that kind of, so yeah, I'll write that up.
That way, somebody looks at the number 5,000, but then you say you mail out 2 tax bills, you mail out registrations, you mail out absentee ballots, you do this.
Yeah.
It's no longer a big number, it's,
And then you also want a copy of my fees in the event that that was the way it was, got it?
Yep.
All done with me?
all done with you?
You're good.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Run.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We're through all the budgets.
Yep,
Yeah.
notes.
Chief's asking for a take-home car for Sergeant Savoza. Where does Sergeant Savoza
He lives in Newton.
Newton, he's about 10 minutes away. think
Newton's
is
more
the
than
chief's
10,
name.
isn't it?
Newton's more than 10 minutes away, but,
That's south of Sandown, huh?
no, it's
No.
next to Kingston.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I think it's an absolute must, I mean,
Yeah, so.
at the rate we're going in town, he's gonna spend an awful lot of time here.
We just have to be careful, because we denied this a take-home car to Barrington.
Rochester.
Well, there's a difference.
Right, so
I,
we should come up with
A radius.
a radius.
I'm not in favor, I mean, he works here, he comes here, gets the cruiser and drives around, does his thing, so. We have,
Well, I think it's.
we have a lieutenant in town, we have the chief literally in Exeter.
Yep.
They both take home cars,
But he would come out for an investigation.
cause he's a detective.
Yes.
But then he could drive here, get the car, and then go out and do whatever he has to do.
Well,
That's
I
what we did
think-
on the last detective.
Yeah, he lasted less than 2 months.
That was a
we
different
not-
issue.
Did we not, we have cruisers going home for everybody that lives in town, plus the chief.
I think that was
Plus the-
during
plus the-
staffing issues right now, that's why.
Well,
No, we
plus
said
the-
she could have employees in
plus the-
town take them home.
Plus the cars going to, the academy for,
That's the truck,
Yeah,
right?
that's the truck.
that's still, vehicle from the police department, it's now going to the academy, we've got one going to everybody's house,
I pause when you start sending them all over the place.
I'm with you on that page, however, on the flip side of that, what was presented to us is that if somebody's taking home their cruiser, they're gonna take care of the car, they're gonna be more conscious of what's going on with it, if something happens to it. they're gonna be
Wasn't him the one that said
responsible
that?
No, I
No.
didn't.
for it. No, so, I'm sort of.
Careful on that, buddy.
I don't know
Play the
that we
tape.
wanted to, I don't want to give everybody a cruiser to go home with, I mean, are we?
I
Well, I'll
also,
take one.
you have a liability
Turn it
issue
to the
too,
sheriff's
if you're gonna, I
department?
mean,
everybody
No, portal to portal.
drives around as their-
portal portal's
They're gonna be on
different, him
duty
coming to
all the
work
time?
and showing up and getting the
Yeah.
Well,
vehicle.
you can't drive around anytime you want, you can only drive the car when you're on duty. It's not like Connecticut State Police where they encourage their employees to drive them when
Yeah,
they're off
they do.
duty. Go to the grocery store, it's a thing of seeing the car out is
It's-
supposed to reduce crime.
It prevents
And as I remember, the detective's car is unmarked anyways, isn't it?
That's right.
So how would we, that wouldn't be a.
I'm not, you know,
I'll make
I
the
think the
motion.
fire chief's vehicle should be logoed even more than it is. That's me.
That's a different issue.
So,
I'll make a motion that we allow the sergeant to take the car home.
Where does he live in, excuse me, where does
Newton.
he live in Newton? Where?
We don't know, that's why we were talking about a mileage radius.
I
Can we
think
take
you
a
do the
straw poll,
mileage
'cause if it's
radius
gonna
first,
be a
so
negative
you have
vote,
some
can you look at the
reason
chief?
for your decision.
So if we can just, please let me call on you,
Oh,
so,
sorry.
My fault.
Phyllis, where are you with this?
I think you should have a mileage radius.
We'll table this for a,
Next week?
you good with that? Alright.
okay.
We're not gonna review and approve the new evidence policy until we get to read it, so if you
Right.
can review for next meeting, the new
Okay.
policies included in your packet. Motion to expand 12,815 out of library impact, expend. Is that for the door?
It's for the doors. The motion to approve the project was already taken, but not with the dollar amount, so I'd like to have a firm dollar amount for the minutes.
Motion for 12,815.
Second.
Motion and second for the door improvements at the library. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries.
Did they ever get a quote for the elevator?
Not that I've seen, no.
Highway safety grant stuff that needs to be signed. So, while she's finding that, Melissa Hanlon resigned from the budget committee last night.
Oh, wow.
So if anybody's interested in serving the budget committee,
Carol,
You wanna do it? We
there'll
got a victim.
there'll be a posting in the newsletter, but, you can call Karen and she can give you the information.
Yeah, they meet every Monday, pretty much, so that would be good.
And
Well, only in the fall, not during.
during
the
the
fall,
budget
right.
Yeah,
season.
just during the
All of
fall.
our approved budgets have been passed through the budget committee with the exception of general government buildings. They still didn't wanna put the money back in that they took out, so it's level funded at 2020 status. Karen had asked for like 1,000 extra.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's.
It's like $1,000 extra for COVID cleaning, and
And they didn't wanna approve that.
No.
it was a well-fought battle, but I lost.
Oh, well.
So,
Let me keep
my
going.
opinion is just, we'll wait till we have any others, and then we can discuss any unapproved budgets,
Okay.
whether we want to amend or just change,
Okay.
so.
I'd like to make an motion that we extend a letter or something thanking Melissa for her service to the budget committee,
and
because I know she stepped up in her time there,
Oh, she did.
Yeah,
because she was a great member to that board, so.
second.
These are the 4 signature pages for the highway block grant. So this is to be reimbursed for overtime costs associated with director patrols. And then towards the end of the grant period, there'll be I'll ask for you to increase the PD operating budget by whatever those costs are. And then the revenue will go into the revenue fund. Are you listening?
Yes, I'm reading.
Bob's just staring.
Now I'm watching him look at him, and I'm trying to see if I can interpret through the paper.
So,
Because
You're
I'm
good, but not that good.
trying.
highway
I got my
safety
glasses
does
on.
different types of directed patrols. So, this is for seatbelt enforcement, drive sober, get pulled over, and you text, you pay. So it's 3 different types of patrols
Right.
that the state pays for us to put an extra officer on the road to enforce those infractions at different times. So I'll take a motion for me to sign.
Make a
I'll make
motion.
it.
Motion and a second, Bob and
Trying to keep consistency, man, makes it easy for Karen on the notes.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Do you need 3 of us to sign this?
Just 3, yeah.
This is similar to the
And then I think just 2 on the other
speeding
pages.
enforcement grant we had for.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's great, cause we get a grant for that, so it's perfect.
You, one of you guys wanna sign this?
Absolutely.
Both of you, or?
You're the assistant, so.
It can stop here and go back.
Well, there's 3 of them, so
There's 3, so.
we'll let Phil sign one, you sign one, and I'll
Oh,
sign
is that
one.
what it is?
Oh,
Okay, you get one. We'll share the wealth, is that what that is?
No, that's the only one that's
only
got
one.
multiple.
Alright, you sign it.
Phyllis already got it, so she's good.
This one does too.
Oh,
Well, make up your mind.
well, wonderful.
That one just has initials.
My signature is my initials.
Sent-
I
I got a
stack it in the pile.
I got a
Fight
pile
about
of
that
them.
one, I can see.
I got a pile.
Did you have anything else?
No, the only other thing I have is I have the earned time payouts. It's about $15,000
Get back to me?
Back to her.
for earned time that's in excess of what can be carried over. So I'm just gonna, 15,400
For
3?
the PD.
for the PD and the fire chief and the road agent.
So that
I'm
will
gonna-
eliminate our
And the road
liability.
agent, So
And the-
5,
right.
okay.
It just
So I'm
puts
gonna
us
do a
back.
poll to see how much time they'll plan to take by the end of the year. I'm sure they can dwindle some of that out. And
So-
then you guys can reevaluate next week, once we have final
What-
numbers.
My question is, why couldn't the fire chief and road agent take time off?
They probably, Wade did actually take a few vacations this
Well,
year.
Yeah.
the problem is he also had a medical leave,
Right.
that he was out for a while, so that unfortunately, it hampered his ability to take some of the time off.
No, I
Well, and I think with COVID, I think a lot of people didn't take time that they generally would have taken.
I can
Over
tell
that 6
you,
months.
I'm gonna lose a week, because I didn't take time either, because I wasn't gonna go anywhere, so it was like, well, I can do a staycation, or I can work. So I continued to work, and I gave up, I'm willing to lose that week. I didn't get any more gray hair, so fine. I don't think it can go any grayer, it's just going whiter.
You're gonna see if people can take time between now and the end of the year before we have to do a payout. We've already said we'd do a payout, right?
Well, you guys will decide if you wanna do a payout or if it's a use it or lose it.
Substantial amount of money.
It's quite a bit of money.
I mean, I think
Well, all it does is add to the budget
we
next
kinda
year.
gave that warning that they have to use their time. The
Yeah.
problem is, I think with the earned time, it's difficult.
Yeah.
Because how many hours are they putting in
Well,
with the
they-
police department, it's difficult anyway, so.
I think the only department we talked about was the police department, because they were shorthanded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fire, they
And
should have been able to.
I know when I had earned time, I knew exactly when I earned earned time and how much I would have, so.
You took it, or lost it.
Right,
Is that how it was at
the
the
sheriff's
county?
office, yeah.
Take it or lose it?
You could only carry so many hours, but my time was like 400 hours I could carry, so.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's 10 weeks.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
They started changing that for doing police because some bean counter somewhere said, you got a lot of unfunded liability.
The
going on."
liability is unbelievable, yeah.
But, yeah, you figure just dispatch had 18 employees at
How many
400
hours
hours
can they
is,
carry here, isn't it 40 hours? How
Uh,
many hours?
Can they
that's a
carry-
lot of time.
That's a lot of time.
How many hours?
That you accrue?
No, how many can you carry over to
2
the next?
weeks.
2
80.
weeks?
2
So you can
weeks.
carry 80.
So that's the liability with,
Beyond that.
That's right.
beyond,
So $15,000 beyond the 2 weeks.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
And that just recreates a
You
budget
gotta
issue next
remember,
year.
we were
We did that
short-staffed
last
for
year.
a long time, so.
No, for the PD, it's absolutely understandable.
Yeah, but what about the other, the other two? Well,
Well, the other two can just take a couple of weeks off.
yeah, so.
How
Or
are we
we
doing
could-
with the CDL? Did he get the
That's
CDL or is he
non-public.
still going?
We can discuss
No.
that non-public.
No,
if you'd like.
The other thing we could do is add 20 or 25 hours that have to be expended by the end of 2021 if you want it to be nice, otherwise.
Or, yeah, you can use it in the first quarter or something like that.
Right,
You've gotta use this much time within the first quarter, otherwise you lose it.
right.
I don't know that that necessarily could be done in the PD with the 3.
No, not the PD,
Oh,
the
separate.
other.
Got it.
The other two
PD
departments.
is definitely a buyout because they,
They were the staffing, and had no
Right.
choice.
Okay.
but I'm talking,
Kill me.
Fire and, yeah. and highway.
All right, let's think about that.
Put that on the agenda for next week. So think about it next week and we can, I like the first quarter thing. You said you had non-public?
Only if you wanna talk about that or the other, but
Yeah, I
not
would,
necessarily.
and I wanna bring up that one tax thing that I was talking about earlier, so.
Tech.
It's a reputation, that we're gonna be
Okay.
non-public for reputation.
So, do I have any further public comment before we go into non-public?
You're doing a great job, how about that?
Thank you.
Oh, awesome. Just one of us or all of
For
us?
the taxpayer.
Hearing that, I'll take a motion to
I'm
go
gonna
to
make a motion to
non-public
go to
for
non-public,
91A.
due to employment, personnel, and reputation, chapter
Good
91A,
night, sir.
311,
Roll call vote.
A, B, C,
Aye.
D, E, and I.
Aye, aye,
Ken?
aye,
Thank you
Bob?
for coming.
What do you forgot a bag?
Phyllis?
Oh.
Aye.
aye.
Good night, Brentwood.
Schedule book.
You want me to turn this off, Andy, or not?